Alright, turtle fans, it's Terrapin Ted here, and today I'm feeding my turtles sand crabs that I've caught from my local beach. So I'm lucky enough to live in Los Angeles, where beach access is very easy. And it's really easy to catch these sand crabs. All you have to do is dig about an inch and a half under the surface of the sand, where the surface, and you can easily just pick these guys up. What you just need is a sand sift or a sand crab rake. And what's really nice is I feed these to my terrapins once a week, and it's an excellent food source for them because this is what they eat in the wild. Right? In the wild, these terrapins are from estuaries, so there's a lot of crabs, a lot of snails, right? A lot of mixing with freshwater and saltwater. So these are pure saltwater crabs or sand crabs that I'm feeding them. You can just watch these guys go after them. They love them, right? So again, if you've seen any of my other, terrapin care videos, you see that I feed my terrapins a variety of food. I try to use live food as much as possible, and it's really easy for me to feed them sand crabs once a week, so I do that. Now these terrapins are about 6 months old. Their shell is about just a little bit larger than I'd say a 50-cent piece. You can see now both the terrapins, both of these baby terrapins have found the crabs and they're just munching away. Again, it's really important to feed your terrapins food items with hard or crunchy shells such as snails or crabs, because in the wild that's what they eat, and their beaks really need that type of hard surface to to hone on. It's very important for the health of their beaks. And again, this also helps them learn to hunt. The crabs are fairly slow, and as long as they learn to catch live crabs, they'll start being better at catching fish. And you can see I have the female at the bottom of the screen and the male at the top left, you can see. And you can tell that by their tail sizes. You can see the female has a very small tail on the right. Right, they're both the same age, but same age turtle on the left. You can see the male with a substantially longer tail. Just watch these guys just tear into those crabs. And next time I'm going to turn the audio on. You can actually hear the crunching. It's pretty interesting. And again, to catch these sand crabs, it's very easy. Just go to your beach, get a bucket, fill it with sand, sift it out, and you're going to get some of these guys as long as you collect the sand in the surf. Right? That's as the waves are, pulling back. That's the area that you want to catch those. And I might do a whole video to show you, how to catch these guys. They love the sand crabs. Out of all of the live food I've ever given them, I see that they really gravitate to these sand crabs. And again, it's just because that's the natural food. I fed them super worms before. I fed them, all kinds of things, snails, shrimp, even live shrimp, but nothing really gets them going like these sand crabs. And I apologize, guys, for the shaky video. Normally I have this on a stand and it's very steady. In this case, I really had to kind of move around, and I had to zoom in, zoom out, so you really get the whole effect of these guys crunching into these crabs. Just look at what a healthy appetite these turtles have. Another thing that you'll notice is that I did add water here. I kept some of the salt water from the sea, and I added it here. The reason why I did that is because terrapins are aquatic turtles, and most aquatic turtles cannot produce saliva. So you have to feed them in water, right? They can't, they'll actually choke if you try to feed them on dry land. They're not tortoises. So that's why I added about, I'd say about a half an inch of salt water here. And again, this is the natural sand and the water from the beach, which these crabs thrive in. And again, I didn't put more than a half an inch. The reason why is you can suffocate these crabs. They need to breathe air, so they need to be at at a good distance from air where they can breathe. So about a half an inch is fine. You could even do a quarter inch, but you need at least a quarter inch of water. Otherwise, these turtles aren't going to be able to feed. And every once in a while, you'll see them catch a crab and just run around with it, because what they're trying to do is run to deep water so they can actually, eat and digest the crab properly. You can see some of the crabs are playing dead. Some of them are moving around a little bit. All of these crabs, were alive when I put them in here. And most of them are still alive. And you can see when the crabs are wiggling around trying to move, that's when the turtles really go after them. So the crabs are really used to, playing dead and being still. But you can see every once in a while the ones that are just laying still will start to move and try to scurry away, like the one on the left. And these are growing turtles, so I still have to feed them daily. Now, if these were turtles that were fully grown and not, actively growing, what I could do is give them a feeding like this even once a week. Some people will say, every other day is fine, but if you give them a healthy feeding where they can basically just feed on, unlimited supply of food for about 15 minutes, this would sustain them for a week. And it's, very similar to the what they'd have in their natural environment. So again, I always do a rotation of feeding. I do pellets. Again, if you want to see exactly the brands of what I'm feeding my turtles, you can check out the care video that I have, and I do a full rotation. But again, every weekend I always do live food. I just feel like that's really important, to me, because it's I'm always trying to replicate the turtle's environment. I feel bad enough that I have them contained. That being said, I do have a 225-gallon tank for them that's filled to the top, where they can swim and you know um, take care of all their natural needs. But I still want to ensure that I give them whatever they'd have in their natural environment. Here's a close-up on the crabs. Trying to give you a good feeling of what they look like. I'm sure if you guys live on the Pacific coast, you've walked over these several times. If you've ever walked on the beach without even knowing that they're there. Um, if you didn't know, if you weren't looking for these things, you'd never know that there are millions of them under your feet. They're really easy to catch if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can spend hours and not even get one. And within a couple of weeks, I'm going to do a video on how to catch your own sand crabs. And the technique works the same on the East Coast as it does in the West. It's a pity that people don't sell. There's no bait shop that actually sells these sand crabs, at least in the Los Angeles area, because they are, fairly easy to catch. And if I could just buy them live, I would buy them. Well, I hope you're enjoying this video. What I'm going to do in about a minute is I'm going to put the video on like super fast forward, to the 10th power, and you guys can just watch them clean up the rest of these in ultra fast forward. So again, what you're watching is a female terrapin, about approximately 6 months old, devouring a Pacific sand crab. And we're going to go into hyperspeed right now. And I'm just going to show you the rest of the crabs being cleaned up by the turtles. Enjoy, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot for watching, and guys, please like this video if you like it, and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more from this channel and from what I'm going to put out. I do promise you that I'm going to put out some pretty incredible stuff in about 1 week. Okay, and that's a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.